Hey, Paradox here for JuanSource.com, and I'm going to be doing a video article today, and I'm going to be going over CT pistols again. So we've gone through 4 maps already. The first one was on Dust 2, Inferno. Second article I did on Nuke and Train, and today I'm going to do 2 maps that kind of deviate from the standard pistols, and that's going to be Mill and Strike. So 2 CPL maps. Fire's really no longer in play for most leagues anyways. So yeah, we're gonna do Mill and Strike today. Okay, for CT pistols. Now a little tongue twister there. So on Mill, I'm gonna start off with Mill. This is one map that really I'm not a big fan of playing a standard pistol round, and what I mean by standard pistol is, you know, playing your pistol round similar to like a default gun round setup. So instead of doing that, you know, instead of doing that kind of default, you're gonna have a lot of weaknesses there, and I'm gonna try to explain that first. I mean, if you're playing one player middle right here, or wherever he's really going to be playing, you know, you figure a USP range, you know, that's not going to be that bad unless they buy a USP also, or they, you know, buy even maybe a deagle. I've gotten headshotted by deagles at really long range before playing this middle right here. It can even the odds a little bit, and you get, you know, say 1-2 players down there using that headshot box. All that can take away the advantage of this mid player at range, you know, so they're gonna gain the advantage that way if they do buy a long range pistol. I mean, if you play 2 players kitty, all you really have here are your nades, and if a coordinated team, you know, sends one guy sewer, for example, and does a sort of split, you know, maybe isolates your mid guy, makes him back off, you know, say your mid guy gets dinked right away, he has to start playing more passive, you play the 2 on kitty, and I mean, even without the sewer, this is going to be hard to hold. All that you're going to have here really are your grenades, and if a team like on T-pistol, and this may be you know, a good idea to do on T-pistol if a team's playing standard, this is going to be to draw nades, because once a team loses their grenades over here at kitty, as long as you have, you know, even one flashbang or even a smoke or something, you're going to be able to get up over here close and then overwhelm this bomb site, okay, with your numbers. So so yeah, that's a big reason I don't really like to play standard, especially over here at this A bomb site. B bomb site isn't as bad. I mean, you could play default a little more, you know, a little more viable to do that. But then again, you know, once you get to late round, you're going to have, you know, say one player kind of rotating off towards A, towards middle, and then you also have to be worried about the door. You have to, you know, worry about this now, the squeaky door kind of mid round. So there's just too many options, I think, on T side, on pistol round, for you to play standard with USPs and you know, without the gun buy. It's going to be pretty difficult for you to hold. So also, in my opinion, this is a T-sided map. I think if played right, Mill's going to be a T-sided map. So anyway, so I told you what not to do. Now I'm going to give you 2 ideas, okay, 2 different pistols that you could use. The first one is going to be a strong B setup, and with strong B setup, you're going to have one player playing A, and he's going to play in the sewer. So this guy, the guy playing sewer, is going to buy 2 flashes, I'd say, and probably a kit. I mean, whatever else you really want to buy, but I'd say 2 flashes for sure, and then buy whatever else you want. I recommend buying a kit. I mean, you never know if you're going to need that. So yeah, 2 flashes for the guy down here in the sewer, and this guy is going to be responsible for spotting anybody going the door. Now, the only real problem you may encounter here, well, 2. One is if they go heavy sewer and they try to push you off, or do like a sewer and a kitty split, you're really not going to have much to retreat to. So you're going to have to really know your options here. So if you do see a lot of players sewer, okay, say, you know, 3 player sewer you spot, okay, maybe get a quick headshot in or something like that, play the range a little bit. You don't really want to fight down here, you know, if you can avoid it. So in the case that they do go sewer, you may want to come back up and call, and try to fight the kitty instead. But if you get stuck down here, I mean, you're gonna have to frag out, try to go 1-for-1. Okay, if they're going sewer to A, you could give up the sewer to B. It's not really going to be a problem for that. I mean, you don't have to fight the guys off here and stop them from going over to B from sewer. That's not really your duty here. You're going to be simply spotting the cross and seeing if anyone goes sewer, and that's really you being effective right there. And your role also is going to be to flash out a sewer, listen for kitty, any sort of kitty push. I mean, most teams aren't going to walk here, and you're going to have a middle player too to help you out, but you're going to be really listening for kitty. This is the only area you're going to leave open on this map, so you have to try to listen for that and see if they're taking the A site so you could get your rotation in. Okay, and then you have your 2 flashes. You're going to do a pattern out of here on a retake, so I'll go into that in a second. I'm going to go over the other spots. So if you're 1-person sewer, you're going to have 1-person middle, okay? And I was talking about, being getting beat by USPs and deagles sometimes at range. This person is going to have to spot middle. That's all really there is to it. So I guess your best shot with a long-range USP is going to be playing middle over here. And you're really trying to spot. You don't really have to fight the other team down here. I mean, if you see a deagle or 2 down there, you really want to be picky with your shots. Peek once in a while, keep them honest, but don't get out here and start ramboing, trying to fight and live or die. So that's gonna be your role right there. If you don't really see a lot of middle, or you're kind of worried about a kitty walk up, like teams walking up kitty, which is really rare, but if you want to be safe on the safe side, you could kind of strafe in and out and go back and forth and sort of spot that way too. Okay, just don't get shot in the side of the head, please. Okay. Really, it's happened to me before, and it's really annoying, so I'm just saving you some trouble. So we have our 2 players set up over at A. That's going to be our A spot. Okay, you're not really having an A defense on this pistol round. It's more of a just spotting and kind of scouting. So that leaves 3 players over here at B, and for this I recommend that you try to play the range. I mean, try to have 1 guy up here, 1 person up in CPL house and in bricks. I'd say have 1 person go through the bomb site and maybe spot this way. Once again, you don't really want to fight here solo, since you do have 3 people down here. You don't want to get in the firefight, if somebody's all the way far back. I mean, that's stupid. You may get the kill, but you also may get killed, and if you do, you have no trade. You don't really have a trade there. If you die, your teammate's not really able to trade and kill that guy, and that's gonna result in a 5-on-4, weaken this B site defense, and you're gonna have a lot of problems that way. So you don't really want to get in too many firefights down here. I mean, you may want to spot, be careful from your grate, and really all you're doing here is using a crossfire and aerial advantage. Okay, with 2 people, it's gonna be really hard for anybody to really take this bomb site. Also, this person mid to late, I mean, if sewer to B is spotted, then this person is going to move over and cover the door too, and you have a pretty good angle here on the door with a USP. Okay, so you could also switch your focus that way too. Okay, and not really give up this bomb site in the case they go door, and at the same time you could still support over here, and you still have 2 players covering down, so in the case that a team does a B split, I mean, you're pretty much as well set up as you're going to be for a B hit. Alright, so you have 1 person over here, 1 person over up top over here, and I'd say the 3rd person wants to play the range as well. Maybe play over here towards the CT side. Probably the best place to be. You don't really want to get trapped over here, really no reason. I mean, it's pretty much covering the same thing, except here you have more fallback, you could fall back more, and you have a quicker rotation over to the A bomb site too, which is important on this strat. Okay, so I'd recommend that your 3rd player play over here, over by the CT spawn, and this way too. I mean, you have 3 people playing range from 3 different angles. You have nades once they start coming up. I mean, if they get really far up, you could do a flashbang off the wall, something like that. I mean, it pretty much just blinds everybody in the courtyard over here. Have a grenade too. You could pre-nade, or anybody up behind that box over there on the left are going to do a lot of damage that way. And pretty much all T's coming out of this choke point right here, fighting 3 people, 3 different angles, grenades raining in. I mean, you should have a really easy time holding this with 3 people. Okay, so you have sort of overall 1-1-3 setup, 3 players at B, and the key is going to be, I mean, we talked about your B, how you're going to hold that. The problem here, well, not really the problem, but the thing you're going to have to coordinate is going to be an A retake. Okay, instead of playing the A bomb site, you're giving it up, and you know some teams are going to go kitty. Hopefully they go B. I mean, if they go B, your life's made easy. If they go middle, you can kind of spot it out a little more, a little quicker. See what's going on there, maybe get an entry pick. But if they go kitty, it's going to be pretty much like a 5-on-5, and then this mid player can swing out a little bit, maybe take a few shots. Really, once again, you don't want to die before you're grouped as a team on this strat, okay? Especially on the A hit, you don't want that sewer guy running up and dying solo. You don't want this mid player just going up, hey, you know, I'm going to be a hero here and try to take the bomb set all by himself. You know, that's not what you want to do. So in the case that they do go kitty, or however they take a bomb site, you're going to want to set up for a retake, okay? And this is going to be a lot of communication and a lot of coordination that way from the sewer player and the middle player. So on this strat, I like this. I mean, I'm the strat caller for my team, and I'll play the middle over here. I'll be able to coordinate a retake or coordinate what's going on. I'll say, all right, sewer, flash up, and then we go. Also, what's going to happen here, if you do have your nades, I mean, first off, you're going to have at least one player going through spawn. I'd say one player go through spawn, 2 players go through Z. That way you're not all clumped up here. You have more nade angles that way. And you could come over through this side, through the Z, get a few different angles and whatnot. What's going to happen here is you have to know when the bomb's in the bomb site. Okay, so this is kind of the job of the mid player. Again, be careful for somebody delaying mid and waiting for rotations to shoot you in the side of the head. Try to take the best angle you can. So keep your back against this wall here. Try to fight people coming in without having to fight 2 angles, and try to see when the bomb's going in the bomb site at the least. I mean, try to do that, multitask a little bit, and once the bomb's in the bomb site, you really want to rain nades in on that and hopefully stop the plant. If you could get the bomb, prevent the bomb from getting planted and trap it there. I mean, you have 4 people over here fighting on one angle, and most of their players are going to be kitty, and a lot of teams, I mean, what they're going to want to do is keep 1 or 2 players over at the kitty that never really advance up. You're going to force these players to advance up now. If you could get that bomb down, if you could nade that bomb, you know, rain on their parade with a bunch of grenades, a bunch of HEs, explosives, you know, throw off some fireworks over here and get that bomb down before it's planted, you know, that's the best thing that could happen. If the bomb does get planted, then once again, I mean, you want to get those nades. You're going to catch 1, maybe 2 players in that bomb site, and you're going to prevent anybody from moving up over here too. It's going to leave a pretty limited defense as far as that goes. So, you know, they're going to be able to play from kitty. You're going to have your sewer guy delay up, and he's going to be a big pest too, because he's going to kind of be the man behind the lines right there. So really all you're going to try to do is prevent that bomb from getting planted at the least, get those nades and get that nade kill, you know, coordinate those nades, get nade damage in. And so that's going to be step 1. Coordinate the nades, take over. You should have, you know, at least 1 or 2 flashes. Everyone else here is going to be pretty much on a standard buy, you know, your nade flash kit, sort of standard buy. And from there, are going to be able to, you know, coordinate maybe a flash kitty. You could even pre-do this, you know, you could preset it, hey, you know, player 4 over here is going to do the flash kitty, player 3 is going to do the one to the bomb site, and then you're going to coordinate. The key is going to be, you know, I said step number 1 is going to be your grenades, step number 2 is going to be to coordinate with the sewer guy, and the sewer guy is going to come up, just do, you know, maybe a flash up in the air. That's a little weird, but I mean, you know, maybe bank 1 off the wall and maybe toss one closer to kitty, you know, something like that, and then come up the sewer, and now he's behind the lines. And in my experience, what's happened a lot of the time is that this guy, you know, a lot of teams won't even pay attention to this, the fact that the sewer is broken, and they'll completely ignore this. Hey, you know, sewer box clear, I'm gonna go in the bomb site, and this guy's able to come up and pull all the focus over there and just, you know, easy shots in the back of the head, 1 or 2 guys, and prevent the bomb plant that way too. So that sewer guy is going to be crucial, and the timing as well is going to be pretty crucial. You want to know if, sometimes you're going to want to do this really fast before they get the bomb planted to start your retake, and sometimes you're not going to be quick enough to rotate. Sometimes you're not going to be in optimal position to do that. You just want to let them get the bomb planted instead. So that's going to be the one variable that you want to work on, is that timing. But the overall idea is going to be the same. You kind of want to coordinate with the sewer guy best you can. Say, all right, sewer flash up, and then you're raining flashes over and on the bomb site. Everything's blind, and you're sending 3 or 4 people in the bomb site together as a group, instead of going one by one. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not going to overcomplicate it, really. Basic strat. I mean, you could work your nade work and adapt it however you want. You can't cookie cutter everything. So that's going to be one of your CT pistols is going to be what I call a 3-1-1 sewer setup. Okay, so we give up A bomb site, play 3 at B, 1 middle, and 1 sewer. And in the case that they go A, you do a retake on the A bomb site. Okay, so that's going to be one of your pistol setups on here. Second one is going to be an aggressive. I said, we're not going to play standard. This is a little more risky. It's just something that you may want to pull out once in a while, test and scrim. It's always good to have options, right? So you're gonna, on this, I'd say on pistol round, it's best to aggress over to the SA1 at the A bomb site. You're not gonna really do a lot of work over at B. You're gonna have a lot of close range fights over here. It's gonna be a lot more compact, and you could get run over a little more over here. The overall kind of grouping potential on T side, a lot of teams like to group up, and I think that's a good way to play on T side. So you have 3 or 4 players over here holding this SA2, and they're coordinated for push. Even though you're sending 4 players in there in 2 different groups, you'd probably send 2 stairs, 2 here, so it'd be kind of difficult to fight here. It's a more difficult fight than fighting over at the A side. So we're going to push A side, and I say we send 2 people through the middle and 2 people down kitty. Okay, just to be safe. I mean, you could do a 3-1, but you run the risk of, if that one person dies, then that spot's open, you lose the crossfire effect and whatnot. So really all that's going to happen here is you're going to send 2 players in the middle, 2 players kitty. Doesn't really matter by the spawn. You may even want to split the spawns. I mean, if spawn 1 goes middle, spawn 2 goes kitty, or something like that. Main thing is going to be to flash in from the middle. You're not really going to do a lot of flashes from kitty, because notice, I mean, if you do, it'll either not be deep enough. So an example, I mean, if you did do a flash from kitty, it'd stay off the wall, and just kind of something like that to stop a sort of push, and that wouldn't really be deep enough. And if you do it deeper, then you're going to blind your people coming from middle. So you're going to be doing your flash work from middle. I'd say first spawn maybe wants to get 2. Second spawn may want to get 1 and be safe and do something towards towards the connector here. You may even want to buy a smoke and kind of smoke yourself out. So in the case that they come from behind, alright, or you can toss a smoke to distract, give yourself an exit point or something like that. I mean, top of middle, for example, and then just since this is kind of a do or die strat, you're not really gonna get a lot of late round going on, so you want to use that smoke. And even though it's kind of a useless smoke, you think, hey, the people coming on the flank, oh, there's smoke there, there's probably a player playing there, nobody just tosses smoke randomly there. So I mean, that's a little idea to toy with, and distract the people maybe coming from SA2 to flank you. Anyway, so going into the actual strat, what you're going to do, 2 people coming from middle, first person, just do a simple flash kind of like that, turn with it, and you may want to do another one, you may not. I'd say test it, see what works better for you. Okay, I'm probably more of a fan of just doing 1 and running in and using your weapons. Okay, so you're going to have 2 from there, and then you're going to have 2 people kitty. I mean, it never hurts to do early flash on kitty in the case that they do rush. Most of the time the middle players are going to be able to spot it early on, but you may want to do one. I mean, it's going to be a toss-up. You either do it here or you save it in the case of a B site hit and your B player dies. for retakes. So I mean, it's a toss-up, whatever you really want to do. But the players over here, I could just come down and fragging, okay, taking angles, trying to move up maybe a little more. You're really trying to control SA1 from both sides. These middle players are going to get in closer contact. They're going to have to run in and actually kind of advance a little bit, you know, work the boxes a little bit, work different angles. The kitty players get to snipe a little bit more, and I'd say keep at least one player, you know, further back, quite further back. You can send one player closer in to fight, you know, to help out these two players. But really, this is kind of a 4-man SA1 control. Not much more to it. If you don't see anybody there, I mean, two things that are going to happen. One, that you don't really see anybody there, or there's somebody really far back, and that's kind of unlikely. Okay, that they're just going to split up and hold pushes on pistol round. Really unlikely that that happens. But you're either going to get a big fight here, okay, hopefully against a team that splits SA1, SA2, you may even get like a 4-on-3 or something like that, or you're going to see nobody here. In that case, really what you want to do, two things you want to do: still be careful anyone hiding behind boxes, see if the sewer is broken, and if it's not, then you gain a lot more info. I mean, you get the reassurance that, hey, they can't go sewer to A, they can't go sewer to B. So I think that's really important to spend a, you know, extra second over here and maybe, you know, see if the sewer is broken or not. And, you know, if it is, I mean, that's info. You're going to have to adapt accordingly to that, depending on what strat you think they're doing. If it's not broken, your life's a lot easier. So what you're going to do in that case, if you don't really get anybody contact over here at A, what you may want to do is return the middle, okay, really quickly. And in this case, what I do, if you have a flashbang left over, is to do one. I mean, maybe just to be safe, okay, toss it behind. You don't have to do it. I mean, you could go gun out, but you have to be careful of a lot of teams just trying to come behind you and playing close range Glock against USP. If there's a lot, you know, say if you get caught by a few players here, you're going to have a little trouble. But I mean, whatever you want to do, I'd say these two return to middle, maybe even 3 players return to middle, through middle, and one player, depending on the sewer is broken or not, he's going to go a different way. So in that case, most of the time what's going to happen, I wouldn't really try to get SA2 unless they already took it, in which case you could you know, maybe send 3 people on a flank. But this all kind of depends. What you're going to do here depends on what the B player is calling, because you figure no contact at A, there's going to be contact at B, and this solo B player is going to be playing close up here spotting. Okay, this is what he's going to do. He's spotting. He's trying not to die though. Okay, so if you get a lot of contact and, you know, you see 1, 2 players maybe start sensing a rush over here, then you're going to want to back off. Maybe even do a flashbang behind you so you don't get, you know, caught by a push. And then back up and maybe try to make your way over to the site. You know, stay back here as long as you can. But when all else fails, you're going to want to move over here to the bomb site, maybe even stay on this ramp and try to survive here as long as possible. So the main reason this guy's here is for, you know, gathering info and knowing if they're hitting the B, kind of seeing what's going on over at B. Okay, and if you do get a fast push here, then those A players have to be really quick with their sweep over at the SA1 and then move over and start going for B retake. Okay. Okay, so being aware. Also, you know, you may want to come back through middle in the case some teams get fancy and do like a B to middle or a B to CT spawn strat. You know, you may want to back up too and kind of reset to default type setup, maybe spot the back lanes and whatnot, retake from the Z. So, I mean, just like any sort of push earlier, you're going to have to know how to adapt, and it's going to be a lot of, you know, never one response, never get one tracked whenever you're pushing, because, you know, if something doesn't go according to plan, I mean, ideally you're going to pick a fight here and win it. I mean, if you pick a fight here and lose it, then that's that. I mean, that's the round. You simply lost by shots, or maybe it wasn't the right strat to run. But you're going to get a lot of situations where there's not a lot of black and white. I mean, there's never black and white, but there's a big sort of gray area, you know, in the options that you have, and whenever pushing on this map especially. So try to incorporate in some of your scrims, run it for experience, run against a team that likes to go A on pistol. Hopefully you'll play another team that likes to go B on pistol, and that way you could kind of get an idea of and get experience with how you're going to respond according to what's going on. I mean, that's the whole idea of practice right there. So, once again, not overcomplicating it. I've talked enough about what's going on here. So to recap, I mean, you have two players coming in from the middle on this push. Okay, piss around push. One first spawn buys 2 flashes. I mean, in the case that he needs them, does 1 and enters that way. 2 players over from the kitty. Usually you're not going to do a flash over here from the kitty. You're going to come down and fight with your guns. So 4-man push on A, and then you have your 1 player over here at the B as a spotter. Okay, spot and delay. So that's going to be your 4-1, your pissing around push. That's what that's going to be. So once again, 2 different options you have. You have your aggressive strat, your 4-1, and now you're going to have your 3-1-1 sewer retake. Okay, so 2 different ideas for pistol. Especially helpful if you've been running the default and not really having success with that. If you do have success with it, I mean, I'm not against a certain strat or certain way of thinking, certain strategy. I mean, every strat has its place. So if you've been successful with the default, I mean, definitely, I mean, stick with your default, but explore these options, kind of add them to your arsenal, and it may be the right way to play against a certain team. Okay, so you have that set, and you're able to use it that way. You expand your game that way. All right, so that's it for Mill. All right, and I mean, we've done a bit of content lately on Strike. I mean, I did a commentary and also did an overview on this map, which kind of included the CT pistol a little bit, but it never hurts to get 2 perspectives. Maybe I'm thinking different today than I was yesterday, and maybe I can offer a little bit of a different perspective and whatnot. And so yeah, I'm gonna go over the CT pistol here on Strike and really get you set. And like I said, we've had a bit of content on this map lately, so hopefully you guys are benefiting from that. Okay, so going into the CT pistol on this map, really the philosophy I'm going to have on this map, well, 2 different philosophies you can take, and I've seen both setups work. For example, I was a big fan, first off, I'm going to say I was a big fan of playing a 3A 1 middle on pistol round, and then if you saw my commentary against Area 51, that was pretty recent, a few weeks ago, on this map on Strike with my old teammates. You saw that we did a 2-1-2 setup instead, and that's kind of how we played throughout the scrim, including CT pistol, and it worked out really well for us. I mean, we pretty much got a wipe on pistol, and that was big for War Machine over here playing the catwalk, but that obviously it worked, and it worked really well for us, so it's a viable setup. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with that. So I'm going to give you the 2 and kind of go through the ins and outs of playing 3-1-1, what to look for there, and then playing 2-1-2, and sort of the overall philosophy, ideas that you want to incorporate. This is going to be more of a default CT pistol map, a lot more so than Mill. I mean, you could do your pushes and maybe get a little fancy, send maybe 1 player connector and whatnot, and do something like that. I'm going to stick with the basics here. And give you the 2 basic CT setups that I think will work most of the time. Okay, and that's really what I'm here to do, not to give you gimmicks, but tell you what works and why it works. So that's what I'm going to do. So the 3-1-1 setup. Okay, starting out with my favorite. 3 players at A, pretty much like a normal gun round. If you saw the Strike commentary, I'm a big fan of this setup on gun rounds too. So yeah, really what you're going to want to do here is play your range as much as possible. 2 static spots, what I'm going to call static, meaning that you're really always going to put a player here. Dynamic means you could put a player really in a few different spots, but 2 static spots at A, 2 out of 3. One's going to be CT spawn, okay, and this player multitask, okay, the multitasker. You're spotting lower, but then you're helping upper, okay, so you're playing range and you have good angles, and I mean also you could spot over here and help with middle and catwalk, so this person does it all. So that's going to be the CT spawn. You're going to have one person over here, over in the CT connector, and I'd say this person should spot upper from over here. Pretty good angle to play from. And the third person can really go anywhere. I mean, you could go on the site, you could play maybe closer up. You know, it might not be a bad idea if you could hit your shots. You can line your crosser up well. Play on this balcony. You know, you could catch 1-2 people coming out fast. And work with your CT spawn person over there distracting for you. Might not be a bad idea here. Then again, you're sort of isolated from your teammates, so I mean that's not a bad place to play. I'd say, you know, maybe even playing the firebox over here is pretty decent. You have good headshot level here. You gotta take your time with your shots, shoot over the box, and you know, you could kind of hide behind it, hide yourself from that lower, but still, you know, pop back up and have angles on it. You know, time to toss your nade, maybe toss a flash out, something like that. And this is really strong against any sort of lower push here, and it gives you good cover pretty much from everything. Only thing you're really going to be weak here, weak from here is going to be the upper. Like a lot of people jumping out upper. I think this would be nonetheless, you know, my favorite place to play for that third person. Another option you have is going to be to have this third person playing over here, helping with the upper spot, and you have a much better shot here. It's a really great place to play overall. I mean, people coming out of upper are only going to see your head. This is going to be a hard fight, really hard fight for this person coming out upper, especially, you know, you have one person over there back there spotting, you have this person on the box. It's going to be a really hard long range fight, and if you figure a lot of teams like to jump out here, they don't really like to pick these fights. I mean, most teams aren't going to come here with a USP and try to pick off, because you're really limited. You're stuck in a small space. You have a lot of places they could play, the CTs can play. Most teams are going to try to Glock armor this and maybe flash a bomb, say take it quick and jump out, and you're sort of preventing them from doing that. With setting 2 USPs on here, I mean, you get entry damage, you can dink the entry guy, and right away, I mean, this kills the morale of the other team. You know, you see 1 or 2 players post on a little doorway you're about to come out of, and you really don't have a great response to that. You know, you have Glock armor, you don't really have smoke, a lot of that stuff. This is just going to kill the confidence of any team trying to go heavy upper. It's playing those 2 players over there, just spotting long range USPs, bam bam, and headshots all day, pretty much. So, I mean, you have a few different options you could play. Once again, you don't really want to get stuck in any place you're going to be isolated, like over here in these boxes. Not really a good place to play. So yeah, 3 options for that third person. You have your one person CT spawn. You have your other person over there on the stairs, and your third person. I gave you the idea. So that's going to be your A setup. You're going to have your 4th person over at middle, and this person, once again, if you saw my commentary, I was playing this middle window, and I was really wary for grenades over here, and that's really what you want to do, especially on pistol round, eco rounds, I mean even gun rounds. A lot of teams are going to try to combat this window by pre-nading it. That's exactly what the other team did to me. You know, once again, if you saw that demo, that commentary, it's exactly what they did. So I was really wary. I just kind of took a spot within my mind as I'm doing that. I'm thinking, hey, nades may be coming at my face right then and there. You know, footballs being tossed, little nerfs being tossed at me. I'm gonna have to keep my hands up, you know, and keep my guard up. So that's exactly what I did, and that's really what you're gonna have to do. Peek out and be ready to fall back. I mean, you could even pre-do this. I mean, hey, mid, oh no, I'm gonna run away now, you know, and that's kind of your mentality, at least in the beginning of the round, playing this mid window. You don't want to get naded and destroyed that way. Okay, you don't want to get blown up in this window. All right. In that case, you know, what I like doing is falling back to passive angle, maybe even pre-firing a little bit. This way you could spot people going to the catwalk, and you figure you're playing 3 players that way. You could shift your spawn player over, maybe spot the connector over here a little bit. So this is going to be a stronger point for your team, so you're not really going to want to do something like this and go over to this side, and I'm trying not to let them get in connector. I mean, that's not really what you want to do, because you have 3 players at A, like I said. You're going to be better off playing over here, maybe even rotating early if you really think they're going to do a fast B. So your B player is playing stairs or something like that, and they hear that basement. You may want to even early rotate, get to that window, okay, help your B player out. But it depends. I mean, me personally, I'd stick in this window and try to take shots. People going by, maybe get a headshot in. Make sure the spawn's going to be covered up so people aren't coming through that vent. Okay, so I don't want to get too crazy over here. Alright, and once again, notice how I'm falling off. I mean, you don't have to fight this middle, you don't have to control that middle, because it's going to be really hard to do. So it's nice if you can do it, but pissing around especially, not worth it. You may get 3-4 people, even with Glocks out there, doing a fast mid is going to be a lot of trouble, even for USP long range. So you get dinked, you have to fall off, you can get naded, a ton of Glocks firing at you, not really what you want. So that's going to be that middle player. Okay, should have given you enough detail so you know exactly what to do there. And then your B player, really, it's kind of variable on this. It's kind of depends on what you want to do, how you want to play this. A lot of people spot over here, and if you've been diligent and you watch my strike overview and even strike commentary, you'll notice I'm a big fan of exploding the basement on piston round. Why? Because players like to play over here. So I mean, I'll say you can play here. It's a decent place to play if you could, get 1 or 2 shots in. Go 1 for 2. If you go 1 for 1, a little more problematic. So really, if you're going to play here, you want to get 1 for 2. That's your goal. I mean, you have the angle for it, and it's kind of ironic me saying, hey, you got to get 2 kills in this spot. You have to. But if you're going to play here, that's really kind of what you have to do is get 2, be good for 2. If you're not, you're going to create a problem for your team. Even if it becomes a 4-on-4, you give the advantage over to the other team in that case. So if you're going to play here, once again, you have to be able to get that quick shot off. 1, maybe 2 kills, maybe grenade in. If you're here, you frag or die. There's no falling back really. Off this spot. I mean, if you're lucky, if you want to try something like doing maybe a spot and flash fallback, kind of like that, and control the catwalk over here, that's really going to be your only other option besides fragging out. And if you do that, you have to make sure that middle that there aren't players that really come in catwalk. And if there are, I mean, God bless you, because you're in a lot of trouble. So if you're playing there, that's pretty much what has to happen. If they do go catwalk on you, you're really, you're assuming a B split at that point. Maybe a player coming basement. If they are going catwalk and you're playing over here, really it's going to depend on whether you think they're going basement or not, and how many players are middle. If it's 3 to 4, or I mean, 4 or 5 players going middle, you may want to control this basement down here. You may want to fight people from down here, and maybe multitask and make sure nobody's coming up behind you to kill you there. But you may want to do that, or you may want to push all the way down and maybe cut off the side of the push. And in the case that the team's doing a split and they have they may send the bomb the safe way down over here to the basement with 2 people maybe down there, and you may be able to make a play and get the bomb down over here and negate that sort of mid push over there, completely give yourself the advantage. So in the case that they do go catwalk, you're playing close up here, you may want to control this basement down here. This is a pretty good place to fight. You can go down here. This is a good control point for this map. I talk about control points, especially on Inferno. I mean, really big map as far as control goes. This is going to be another map where you have control points on bomb sites where you want to give or take. So if you take control of basement over here, and your team's going to be rotating from the building and from flank and catwalk, if you could hold control here and negate any sort of maybe one-man delaying over here, you're going to be a huge help instead of trying to frag or die. So I mean, you really have to know what you're doing in this case, and kind of have a lot of experience as to and a good mid spotter too. You know, that's going to help a lot too to give you that info. I mean, if your mid spotter says, hey, 4 middle, that makes your response that much easier, because you know the high percentage play at that point is going to be to push basement. Okay. Whereas he says, oh, middle, 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 you know, and you don't really know how many are there. He's not calling numbers. You're going to be kind of 50-50, going one way or the other. So, so like I said, I mean, experience helps a lot with this, knowing how to respond, when to respond to that, which I'm helping you out with right now. And then it's going to be up to your mid spotter. That person's going to have to do a really good job. So if they're not, you know, if they're not being good with their calls, it's maybe the time, you know, say, hey, you know, hey there, Bob, you might want to start calling a little better, man. I'm gonna need some help from you. So that's really really what you're gonna have to do. So that's gonna be your option there. Most people, like I said, are gonna play that basement like that, getting out of story mode here. I'm gonna give you your other option. This is going to be to play in the building and hold this control point. Main thing is going to be, like I said, you have one of a few options here. You know, I'll give you one of 3 pretty much, or one of 4 really. One, you could push a basement. You know, you could spot the basement and push it. In the case that they're coming catwalk, you could spot the basement and go over to catwalk. In the case they go heavy basement, you could spot basement. You could frag or die. That's your third option. Fourth is going to be to play over here in this building and hold a control point. Okay, if you're not confident in going 1 for 2 all the time, which I don't know why you would be. I mean, 1 for 2 is great, but it's not really high percentage play. You know, if you can go 1 for 2 more than 50% time, I want you on my team, really, because you're a damn good player anyway. So playing this building over here, just going to be playing the range, playing the USP range, maybe picking people coming up the stairs, picking people coming from catwalk, staying safe, staying alive, keeping your body in the game. You know, you're another man. You're another. You know, instead of having 4 players now, you're going to have 5 to be able to retake a bomb site. You have a little more control of the building here. You're not really letting the T's push up too quickly, and you may be able to get your team rotated into the building, whereas sometimes if you die early, you know, and even in a 4-on-4, this is what I was talking about, where you're going to lose advantage in a 4-on-4. Teams are going to be able to take control of the building, you know, again, get set up in good spots, you know, behind this box over here, kind of peeking in and out from here, and make your life really miserable if you're trying to rotate over from the CT spawn, which you know, you're going to have at least 1 or 2 players doing. Okay, so instead of doing that, you really want to play safe, play in this building here, play far back, maybe get an entry kill, delay that plant a little bit, get a good grenade in, and try to stop them from going into the building. And really here you want to move around a lot. You don't want to sit in this window and try to fight, or sit in this doorway and try to fight. You really want to use both. Use a lot of angles. You know, you may want to just flash out that window, maybe take a shot or 2, work over back to the window, and try to stop that plant. I mean, if not stop the plant, delay the plant, and stop any sort of control of this building over here. This is going to be the B player. So, I mean, I've you know, read a book on this whole B bomb site now, but really important because you have a lot of options. So, so that's going to be that. All right, to recap. Okay, keep a basic recap. Your strong A setup on pistol rounds is going to be 1 player over here at B. Okay, a lot of options you have doing there. Your 1 player at mid, kind of spot and drop man over here, and then you're going to have 3 players over here at A. 1 person over here on the steps at spawn, 1 person over here at the spawn connector, and then your 3rd person is going to be variable. Really, wherever that person's comfortable, whatever you see has been working for you, it's really what you want to do. Main places are going to be this firebox and over here spawning into the upper. Okay, so that's going to be your 3-1-1 setup, strong A pistol setup. Now I'm going to go over the 2-1-2 that my team did that ESCA match in the commentary. This is going to be 2 players at A. At this point, I mean, you don't have that 3rd variable. I want to stick with the 2 static spots. This is going to be the 1 CT connector. Okay, this person also doubles as covering middle, covering any sort of mid to A push. and then you're going to have your CT spawn person playing the range over here. Okay, so this stays the same, nothing different. Only thing is that you're not going to have the third person over here. Okay, once again you have your player middle, same way as I talked you through, same exact deal. Not much more to it than that. Going to keep it simple. So you have your 2A, your 1 middle, and then you have your 2B setup. At this point, I think the correct way to play is going to be for one person spotting basement and one person playing over at the catwalk. I mean, this worked for us. I'm going to say, you know, it'll probably work for you if you could hit your shots. Okay, if you could hit your shots and kind of multitask here. This is going to work for you. This may be problematic though. I mean, I wasn't thrilled with the idea that we were going to do this on pistol initially, and you know, War Machine killed 4 people, so I mean, what more can you ask for, you know? But if you want to play a little more fundamental setup, a little different from what we did, I'd say playing one person back box here is really powerful. And you know, once again in the overview I go over playing an Opera here if you're going to play the B bomb site. Even a rifle here is pretty good. You have a lot of strafe angles where only your head's above the box. You know, right here your head's above the box and you see their full body. You could strafe in and out, use the pillar for cover. They don't really have anything for cover. And you could take a different angle here behind the box, behind the fence more so too, and this is going to be really hard for them to fight. So this is pretty much guaranteeing you catwalk control. And then you could also double up and help basement stairs. I mean, so you can do that, and then the second player can play really however he wants. It wouldn't be a bad idea to play over here and spot the basement, so your player can over in the back there can focus on catwalk, and then you could rotate over. You know, say you spot down here basement, you could either move over to here and do kind of like a crossfire on the stairs, or you know, and close your angle up from there, or you can give yourself a little more distance from the stairs and you could move over to here. And also, you know, you're kind of multitasking here. So the main thing is going to be, if you're going to play the setup, you're going to want to multitask, and I do recommend playing the person back box a little more so than I do playing a person close, because you know, you figure, I mean, once in a while you're going to be able to hit your shots and kill 2 or 3 people here, but sometimes Glocks are jumping around. You're not really going to get your bearing with your shot, and you're going to maybe go 1 for 1. So this is a safer way to play a 2-person B setup. You know, 1 person back box here, 1 person spotting the basement, and then once again you have your options I went through before. You know, even pushing the basement maybe, but so you have sort of the same options as you would playing a solo setup, so I'm not going to spend more time going through something I went over already. So once again to recap, you have your 2-1-2 setup, you have your 2 players B, and you have your 1 player middle, and you have your 2 players A. Okay, the static A. Okay, static 2 players A. Alright, so you have your 3-1-1 strong A setup, you have your 2-1-2. I'd call that a strong B setup, really what you're doing, since the standard is usually more of a 3-1-1 on this map. I'd say that it's more of a strong B setup. So you have your strong A, you have your strong B, or more of an even setup in actuality. So that's going to be that. I mean, not going to waste more of your time than I need to. So you have your 2 setups on mill. Okay, your aggressive setup, your 4-1 push on mill. You have your 3-1-1 sewer A retake on mill. 2 really good pistol strats. Probably both really new to you as well, so both things you probably haven't done before. And then you have your basic, tested, tried and true strats on strike. Okay, your stronger A setup, stronger B setup, no gimmicks here, no taking risks, just playing solid, fundamentally correct. So that's it. I mean, that's it for strike and mill. And I'm afraid I may have called mill Tuscan, but at one point in this commentary, but I'll have to live with that. So anyway, go ahead and post your comments. Once again, you know, we've had a bit of requests for strike, so hopefully, I mean, coupled with the commentaries we've done and the overview that I did, just the overall strike overview, this will give you a lot more kind of focused and a lot more detail on the CT pistol, on on strike, and then also with mill, a couple ideas to throw in there and play more fundamentally sound instead of a default. So hopefully it helps. Hopefully you guys have a lot of success out of this. As always, I mean, post your ideas, your comments, any sort of requests that you may have, and yeah, I'll try to get whatever you guys want, try to get it out to you. That's what I do. So thanks for watching, and happy gaming. Good luck.